Hello and welcome. My name is John Goslin, and I'm the founder of GreaterBostonPersonalTraining.com. And I want to take a few minutes with you today just to highlight and overview the 9 nutritional no-nos that we've identified as the hot buttons to why people don't get the results that they want out of their body. So at a glance, just take a minute and browse this slide quickly, and you're going to realize that most people feel that they eat pretty good. But what does that really mean? Is that a rhetorical question? And more importantly, is it even logical? So the first no-no is the Paleolithic primitive days. And this goes back to the hunter and gatherers. Why was it so important to take sight of history as we move into the future? And it's really simple. Sickness. Well, what is that, they asked. There really wasn't that much sickness, and although people may have died at an earlier age back then, there was a lot less heart disease and heart-related illnesses. And today, 41% of deaths are heart-related. And Dr. Eaton, in the book The Paleo Diet, basically made a statement that says, our genes determine our nutritional needs. So, as the Stone Agers moved into the Space Age, currently 45% of the United States are striving to be well like our ancestors. On the flip side, that means that there's 55% of people that are still siding with the sickness epidemic rather than looking towards wellness to improve upon things for themselves. So as we move forward, I just want to highlight something that Dr. Stephen Covey said in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. To know and not to do is not to know. And up until now, it may not have been your fault that you didn't know a lot of this, but from this point forward, I think you really should know the difference from this and from that. And when it's all said and done, we truly should be principle-centered in our eating habits. And although we kind of have some fun on the pictures over here, it will take a lot of model to sculpt the right side picture of David, of course. But the reality is that there's only been a slight shift in our DNA over the last 40,000 years. And the food choices haven't certainly increased, and the sedentary lifestyles and all of the lifestyle-based things where the personalities kick in have changed. But in reality, the principles of how the body should operate really haven't. So are you clogging your engine or priming your genetic pump? So let's fidget with some facts. Cholesterol, bone density, weight management, and immune system function is all seen a decline for the worst as we've aged and evolved in society. It doesn't have to be that way. And one last point, it might not be the sexiest thing to eat totally healthy, but it is certainly effective for your body. The agricultural revolution. So we're living in fast forward. Rather than fruits, vegetables, and all the healthy things that we know are good for us, we've lived in fast forward, and we're basically living out of a box and counting calories, frozen dinners, point systems, and not eating at all really have become prominent in most people's way of life. But if you're looking for a real quick tagline on maybe a quick change in the moment, in the right now, it's if it doesn't eat, swim, fly, run, or is not green, stay away from it. It's really simple, and everything in moderation. And I was with my son about a year or so ago, and he's a little guy, and we were watching Cookie Monster, and the new rallying cry of Cookie Monster is eat your colors. And I think that's a great idea, and colors certainly provide nourishment. And then there's also the food pyramid and the flubs that go along with that. And the government created this to give us more sensible boundaries and laid out a better track to run on, literally. And adding exercise was a nice improvement, and it's a step forward, but are people listening? Are people actually getting out there and trying to fight the flab with moving around and sweating it out a little bit? There's nothing wrong with hard work. And one thing on the food pyramid, if you check it out, it says children should exercise 2 times as much as adults. I think they are citing childhood obesity here, or something. I don't really understand that, but the point is children don't run the families, adults do, and it has to start at the top as far as I'm concerned, speaking of pyramids. Tony the Tiger. He's quite the scam artist. Okay, and the reality is the food packaging industry is quite the human interest group, and because they give, they get. And what they get is the ability to kind of persuade through marketing people who might be undereducated and might be willing to make some wrong decisions based on marketing. But it's true fact, if you fed white flour or refined sugar to a rat, it would die before 30 days. And most of our foods have white flour, and we'll talk about some of the other preservatives in a minute. But if you look at the good, the bad, and the ugly is Procter and Gamble. They are lining the shelves with just mediocre to terrible products. The bad is CW Post, Post cereals. Ironically enough, CW Post died of scurvy back in the olden days, and scurvy is basically the byproduct of being vitamin C deficient. And that's someone who, to this day, still lines the shelves. And then there's the good. Companies like Merck, pharmaceutical company, where they're trying to partner with wellness, but unfortunately, it's definitely a tough hurdle to overcome. Eating expensively. It's not the quality of our food choices. It's not the quantity, sorry. It's the quality of our food choices. And muscle dictates metabolism. So it's not about eating so much protein that you turn into a bodybuilder or you get so insanely big. It's not about that. It's really about creating a caloric deficit. And how eating expensively does that is it takes about 4 times the work to break down a protein byproduct than it does anything else. Okay, and that's really what increasing your metabolic cost is. Okay, and then also when you're working out, increase your metabolic demand. You should really be sucking for air and circuit training and taking little rest during your workouts if you truly want to maximize and wake up your wow factor. And 45% of people said they would change a bad habit if they could. But the reality is they can. So why aren't people doing anything about it? It's because it's easy. So coming in for a landing here, minimize these 8 food categories. And it's boxed food choices, as you can see up here in the picture with the X out of it. Acidic or unfavorable meats. Truth is, disease only grows in an acidic environment. And alkalining foods are, your vegetables and your things that lean you out. They're fibrous. Dairy, pasteurized, basically equals no good, or something's only 10% bioavailable if it's pasteurized. Soda and fruit juices, try to eliminate them if you can. Grains, not bad, but the grains were really the decline of the agricultural revolution. High fructose corn syrup is probably one of the most widely used preservatives in all of our foods. Hydrogenated oils, they're just so complex that you can't really break things down. And Skippy peanut butter versus Teddy peanut butter. Look at the number of ingredients. And the final thing is minimize soy intake. There's not enough knowledge out there about soy, and soy definitely had a movement, and there's nothing totally negative about it. Everything in moderation, of course, but just be leery of what you're putting in your body for man-made or human-made products. And the final thing is to implement a nutritional plan B. Because it's not what you eat, it's what your body absorbs. So make less of the medicines and do more with the natural health and the holistic movement. Again, 45% of society is moving with it. And here's just kind of a rallying cry and a mantra. Just because you're not sick doesn't mean you are well. Okay, that's a critical point. And most doctors and medical professionals know the truth. They just don't know what to do. And putting a nutritional plan B, because the soils have been depleted, and there's just so much research out there that are leading towards proper wellness. And at Greater Boston Personal Training, we actually use liquid vitamins to recommend to some of our clients. Of course, some people aren't interested, and that's cool. But the reality is, if most people realize in this economy they need a plan B financially, no different with nutrition. Okay? And in summary, know your body. You know your body best. Do more of the less bad things. Fight those feelings. Okay? Don't eat on feeling, eat on principles. Eat, pray, love, and laugh a lot. Become more functional. Marketing is masterful, so be careful of what you let in. Have you hugged a horse? All that means is put some fiber in your body. Watch the wellness world. It's really on the rise, and there's a lot of quality information out there. And don't believe the hype. It's a whole new world. So in closing, again, I'm John Goslin, the founder of the Greater Boston Personal Training.com. If you want to phone us, it's 248-5102, greaterbostonpersonaltraining.com, and the email is the Ally, A-L-L-Y, advertising group at gmail.com. So thank you for your time. Hope everything is going awesome in your life, and I look forward to helping you wake up your wow factor. Bye now.